All right, without further ado, here in the bottom right hand corner of the map, give it up for the blue Terran pieces. It is Cure. And in the top left, inner the red, it is the Protoss player known as Stats. All right, so game number one here. Death Aura, always a fun map to see, and we'll see kind of what Stats has to offer here. Cure has been playing all right. He's been doing all right. And we'll see if he can hold up against Stats. Now, barracks coming down into the refinery, going to be a gateway for our Protoss. And really interesting, right? We see him kind of going into just a block. We've seen this a lot more from Protosses, just making sure that the ramps cannot be utilized for an early game scout. And really forces that kind of funneling of the Terran. So we'll see how that kind of transpires. Now, there is a lot of open space in the back, and we do see a lot of drops come through sometimes for that. Maybe we see Stats go into a Stargate play and just go crazy, but we'll see. SCV going to be coming over for Cure. We'll be able to scout and see. Okay, he is at least taking a natural.
Command center upgrade complete.
Behind it, going to have the factory play as well, and everything looking pretty good. All right. Adept first coming out from Stats, and good to go into a Twilight Council. Very interesting. This can be double Adepts, which it used to be if you see double Adept, it's automatically going into Stargate. But we've seen Protoss kind of evolve their playstyle where, hey, I can get those double Adepts for the early game aggression, and behind it, I just go into, you know, I can go into Blink, I can go into Glaive Adepts. There's just so many possibilities, and that is one of the options we've really seen kind of flourish as of late, is that double, or the Adept with Glaive style. So, robotics facility on the way. Stats going to continue to put the pressure up to the front, allowing the space to not really mine like he wants to. Going to come in with the Hellions and the Marine, but going to shade out with any problems at all. And I like this from Stats as well. He's just looking around, making sure that there's no proxies. Looking essentially for the Stargate, right? He's like, okay, you're going into Hellions. A lot of Terrans like to throw their like Stargate over here, so the Hellions can just come over, get into the medevac and go straight across. But this case, it is not going to be that, and I don't think he's even started his Stargate yet, no, or his starport. He has not. He does have STEM on the way, and it is going to be a DT Shrine follow-up from Stats. Now, Cure does have these Hellions. Will he actually scout the side? I don't think so. Maybe he does if he goes up to the actual base, but you know, starport just now getting put down. We see the factory going into reactors once again. Sees there's no third base as of yet, and oh, does he see it? Oh, he does. He's gonna scout the DT Shrine right as it finishes up. We should see him play a little bit more defensive. There goes the eBay. The Marines kind of sitting forward. He is going to go ahead and hold off on his energy as the first few DTs are going to warp in. One going to go into the natural, two going into the main. Cure going to scout the Warp Prism coming in just in time, which will allow him to be a little bit more prepared. At the same time, though, he's got to be careful at home. Going to go ahead with the scan, getting a nice wraparound at the same time, protecting the main base. We'll go ahead and push back the Warp Prism. The Warp Prism so low. but not going to be able to get it. 3 SCVs do go down for the price of a couple of DTs. That is not bad at all. More DTs going to get warped in, looking for another attack. Actually going to go into an Archon. So does he switch into Archon drops? What? But the Viking now apparent, and he will be able to shut down the Warp Prism altogether if he can scout it. Oh, he is. He's going to scout this puppy. Oh no. Stats. Stats, go. Get away, stats. Alright. Third base behind this is going to be taken for stats. And yeah, I mean, he's going to add on more barracks. Curious. He's got +1 on the way. He's already got stim done. So he doesn't have to worry about that too much. Blink is on the way for stats. And going into Immortals behind this. So a very kind of standard style after a crazy opening. Ooh, I like this. A double drop coming out from Kier. Gonna go to the third base, force the army to the third as he comes in the natural or the main with his with another attack. But right now he's just distracting. He's just continuing to put the attack over here and force this kind of weird reaction from stats. There we go. Marine's going to drop in, going to start trying to shut down some of the pylons, some of the units. At the same time, we should see another attack coming up to the bottom. No, he's not. Not yet, anyways. He's not forcing a reaction out of stats, so he's going to pick up and move out, as he hasn't really had to defend that. Another drop coming in from Cure as he sends another medevac across full of the units. And another couple of attacks, really just Cure trying to send across and keep stats on the defensive. We'll pick up. He still has this one open. He hasn't come over to join it or to leave or nothing. That's crazy. Templar Archives on the way. And yeah, I mean, he's really just kind of waiting for another big full force. And I mean, what does he do behind this? All right, Cure going in. Gonna go ahead and drop, regardless of seeing how many stalkers are here. Gonna see the Widow Mines burrowing down as quickly as possible. Gets on top of one of the stalkers. Gonna go ahead and shift back against one of the Zealots. Another huge hit with the Widow Mine. We'll get out in time, but able to kind of reset some of this army. At the same time, we still do have the units here for Cure, just kind of sitting and spread out, but I don't know. I feel like he's kind of put himself in a weird bind where he can't really attack into him. He does have Ghosts on the way, or he has the Ghost Academy. So we'll see what it kind of does behind this. Charge is now done for stats as well, which will make it a little bit harder for Cure to kind of micro behind this. Now he will have Ghosts soon, so he can kind of EMP them, make them as a little ineffective, and throw in more like Widow Mines and stuff if he really wants to. Yeah, he's kind of getting caved in here. There we go. So at this point, we do see stats having to play more defensively. Of course, that's kind of his comfort zone, his bread and butter at this point. Do see the Widow Mines going to burrow, trying to get on top of some of this army. Gets a couple off, actually. And we'll go into the main automatically. Blink is done, so yeah. I mean, he's trying to pull a fast one on stats right now, but it's just not working. And we actually see stats now going across the map to be the aggressor. And we'll see if he can continue with this. Yeah. Yeah, and that medevac's really low. He's got to be careful there. But it does look like Cure will have to eventually kind of return back home. There's not a whole lot of army here for Cure at home. He does get a beautiful EMP off, but there's just not enough army here for Cure. He does have to throw the SCVs into the fray. Does a beautiful split with these storms. But yeah, I don't think he has enough. He's going to go ahead with a couple more of the Widow Mines. They're going to go off onto this army, but there's just storms for days. The stats finally, or excuse me, Cure finally returning home with some more of his army, and it looks like he might eventually be able to clean this out, but not after 22 SCVs have fallen. He's lost his natural. Yeah, maybe he stabilizes, but now stats is on 4 bases to a 2-base Terran. And it's almost like Cure has to move out now. He has to go across and get the damage done. He realizes that, one, yes, there's not going to be a whole lot of army across, but two, if he wants to equalize us, he needs to get some damage done. Stats is going to see this. The scan's going to go down. He's going to see the army here. And yeah, that's not a whole lot from stats, but Cure doesn't have a whole lot either. If he can get some really good Widow Mine shots, that'd be nice, but oh, he's just going to go straight into the main. Realizes that stats is going to be more protective towards this front, but he's just going to go in the front. But yeah, I mean, he can't even go there. It's just completely shut down. Stats holding up to who he is. Zealot run by, going to be coming down through the bottom right there. Behind this, he does have +2 on the way, and going into disruptors is stats. There we go. Overcharge shouldn't go down. Beautiful EMPs do go off on the Immortals and some of the Stalkers. But he just doesn't have enough energy to really continue on to that. 17, 19, and SCVs do go down from that Zealot run by. And yeah, I just don't think Cure has enough. He's going to GG out. And there we go. Stats taking game at number 1 in this series. All right. Let's get into game number 2 on Romanticide. Let's see, can Cure tie things up? Stats, man, just playing a really good game. Here in the top left, in the blue, give it up, it is Cure. And in the bottom right, in the red, it's the Protoss, it is Stats. All right, so game number 1, kind of what I was saying in the intermission there. Cure was playing this really weird style, right? He was playing this kind of, I just need to go across with medevacs full of units and just try to force stats onto one side, maybe get in, try to get some sneak damage, and then just keep trying to elevate her back and forth. And unfortunately, that didn't work. I mean, stats is really good at defending those kind of pressures. So in this situation, I feel like Cure needs to change it up if he wants to do something here. I don't know what he could really do. I mean, he has some really good control with his army, but he was losing too much. He wasn't able to get the damage done, and in turn allowed stats to just build up a massive army that when he was across with all of his army attacking, he just didn't have anything at home. He really didn't. Which did allow stats to get a lot of damage done. More than I think stats should have gotten done. But still, the damage was done. Put Cure onto a 2-base economy to a 4-base Protoss. And if you're the Terran player, you never want that to happen. So we'll see what adjustments Cure can make and see if he can bring this back. If not, Stat's going to 2-0 him, and we're going to see a very sad cure. Alright, this time Cure going up to the top. Going to throw down a factory. What kind of play is he going for here? Is he going to go into some Thor drops? I don't know. Maybe not. It's probably going to be a couple of Widow Mines and do a drop that way, but we'll see. Stats going into that Adept opening once again. Twilight Council on the way. And that robotics facility. Do we see Stats go for the like DT play again? It's gonna be Hellions. Starport on the way now in that proxy location, and right now Stat's not able to really scout and see what's going on. He just knows that there is a barracks present. He sees the command center, everything that would give him a hey, everything is normal so far, and even able to kill off the Adept. Beautiful play. Alrighty, medevac on the way, and it's going to be a Hellion drop. Now, not sure going in right here. Maybe he can just kind of sneak it in through the top, but very interesting coming out from here. Blink on the way for the Protoss. Behind it, just adding on those additional gateways. He's getting 3 more, which will allow him to start pushing out more and more units. And he does have that War Prism, so going to go across and once again try to put in that aggression. eBay coming down. Very interesting placement as well, right next to the barracks. Unfortunately, eBay is not a reliable barracks add-on. It is just strictly for the consumption of upgrades. Oh, there it is. Alright, so here come the Hellions. Actually getting quite a bit of damage done here. 7 probes do go down, 8 probes, 9 probes. Holy cow. And there we go. Able to get 11 probe kills. Still, we'll be all right. And with the follow-up, it's going to be some Widow Mines. Now, can he get any more damage done? As we Stalkers coming up automatically trying to find this, going across the map, but here it comes. The Widow Mines. Is he going to pay attention here? No, he's not. He's not paying attention. Stats, what are you doing? No! 6 more go down. Across the map, he does have those Blink Stalkers trying to help out with this, but it is not helping at all. Coming into the front already, we see the Marines, excuse me, coming up to the top. He is delaying a little bit of the SCV production, but at the same time, another Widowmine shot going to be coming down. Another 4 get killed off, and Stats does not have the economy to deal with this. But at the same time, Cure going to be losing quite a bit of SCVs here if he is not careful. He is trying to get something going, but he doesn't have a factory across, so he cannot make tanks. He has to play this very careful. Stats, is he just going to go ahead and say, you know what, I don't even care, let's just go ahead and reverse sweep this? Oh no, this is not looking good. The War Prism still alive, is going to help out with this. A lot of these Stalkers are starting to get low, but with the adding of the Adepts, this is going to be a very tough situation. 10 more probes do go down, but not to the 24 here of a Cure. Stats though only on 7 workers, so this is all he can really afford. He can't warp any more units in at the moment. And here we go, the Marines starting to pull forward. The Marauders trying to help crush some of these Stalkers. Stats trying to micro this the best that he can. It looks like he might be able to hold this off. But no. Yeah, Stats starting to get very, very low. 16 more probes do go down. Stats is down to 1. Cure is down to 1 probe. It is a one-on-one matchup. What you have is what you bring to the table here, folks. And Cure having to sit back. He does not have enough. He does have enough to finish the match. GG's, man. Down to the last SEV as Cure able to tie things up. What an insane match. Sacrificing the SCVs for the greater good. Cure able to tie things up. Let's jump into game number 3 and let's see if he can equal it out. All right, so it's now tied up 1-1 in the top left. In the blue, it is Cure. And in the bottom left, in the red, it is Stats. Alrighty, so game number 3, number 75. I don't know how many games we are in, but it is tied up. That is all we know. Cure able to hold off a pretty good attack from Stats. Most players, I think, would have lost to that. I know I probably would have for that counterattack, and I think it was exactly what Stats needed. He needed a Hail Mary play. Just unfortunate that behind it he was not able to recover because he was having to focus so much on the attack at hand. Unfortunately, he was just not able to get it done, and Cure able to secure the victory. So we'll see, can Stats kind of reclaim himself here? Now, in game number 3, I don't know. We've seen Stats kind of go for the same build each game, even though it kind of came with different results. It has been kind of the same, like, double adapt into a War Prism, go across, try to do some damage. You know, one map, it was DTs. The second map, it's, you know, just going in with Stalkers. So what does he do this time? Does he go into that same strategy of, hey, let me just get the new base, or the I don't know, does he just go into the same style? Let me just get the War Prism, let me just attack, or does he change it up? I mean, he could go into Stargate if he really wanted to, maybe go into some Oracles, because Cure's not really expecting a Stargate play. But do you risk that? Do you go into Oracle? Do you go into Void Rays? Do you play that risky game, or do you just say, okay, let me go ahead and sit back? And indeed, he is going to go into Stargate. Now, the Adept is going to shade out. I don't think he's... Okay. I don't think he saw the Reaper. Reaper is going to get in here, and this is going to be a huge scout. Why aren't you following him? I don't know why you're not following him. Anyways, so Cure gets in. He's going to see the Stargate play. That's going to tip him off automatically. Hey, I need some defense. And in fact, we do see him going into the factory, adding on another barracks. It's going to allow him to get into Widow Mines, allow him to keep that kind of pressure. And if he does come in with an Oracle, going to be more than okay. Now, it is going to be actually a Void Ray, or no, excuse me. It's going to be a Phoenix coming through. And I like this as well. Stats is going to continue to keep the pressure at the base of Cure. Not going to allow him to really move out. Now, it's not a huge defense, but oh, he's going to get into the main, going to scout out what the Terran player wants to do here. Not going to get really in damage. I think he gets the SCV. Yeah, he's going to get the SCV, get out with his life to the bottom. Able to kill off 2, actually. Very nice. But yeah, that's going to be his last. With 1 health in hand, the SCV is just going to poke him and say, hi, buddy. And he will die. Robotics facility on the way. And behind this, it's gonna be Adept Phoenix, maybe? He's gonna go heavy into Phoenix, or at least get a few. It looks like the Marines are trying to scout where this is at, but Phoenix is gonna get into the main base. No eBay as of yet. It's gonna be Stim and Marines coming out from Cure. Able to pick off another couple of SCVs. That's gonna really hold Cure off for the moment. Reaper still alive onto that third base. Sees that there's no third taken yet, as as the robotics facility is taken. And yeah, I think now Cure has to kind of play this defensive game of, I've got to sit back until I can deal with these Phoenix. These Phoenix are going to allow him to put himself in this position where if Cure is not ready, he's going to get some damage done, but he's got quite a bit of Marines to handle this, so we'll push stats back once again. Stim almost complete for the Terran, which will allow him to kind of catch up with these Phoenix. Medevacs are done. eBay is about done, which will shut down, at least put some defense into this. Robotics Bay is behind us for the Protoss. He's going into Immortals. He's adding on more depths. He's got those sentries building up energy, and this will allow him to continue into pressure. Now, he does lose a Phoenix. He's able to pick off 5 SCVs, though. And here comes the Marine push. Is there going to be enough here, though? It's going to go straight into the main of Stats. Stats doesn't have a whole lot at home. A lot of his army is in the Phoenix. He does have the Depths and an Immortal. Immediately, though, we see Cure pulling back. He's going to sit down and shut down the production of the Stargate, of the Warp Gate tech. Oh man, is Cure going to get the... No, he doesn't. I was gonna say, is he going to get that Cybernetics core as well? He is trying to push for it though, but we do see another push coming over here. As Cure finally is getting a little bit of push here. He does actually get that Cybernetics core. And stats. Starting to get pulled apart a little bit here. Now, he's not fully behind at all, but he has to play this very defensive part now. He can't move out. He can't be active on the map like he wants to. And this third base is in trouble of actually falling, but he can't fully attack it, right? He's got to keep into the main and keep protection. And Colossus will be able to kind of push this away, which will be nice. The Immortal, though, will be able to finally get some damage done, but is it going to be enough? He's actually going to lose this Immortal. And Kieran just continuing to put the aggression onto Stats. His third base is coming up. Behind us, as Stats is able to finally kind of resume mining at his third base. Behind it, we do have just more and more barracks coming down. He's adding on the Marines. He's got the shields coming through, and he is preparing for a big attack. He's even got a few Widow Mines in with this. I just don't know if Stats is going to be prepared. Stats does have +1 on the way. He's got extended thermal lance and charge, but he doesn't have any zealots. He's got 3 zealots. That's not going to make too much of a difference here. He will be able to push back the Phoenix as he's going into the main base. He's got to be careful, though. His medevacs are very low. At least a couple of them are. Going to drop right on top of this army, actually. What a huge play coming out from Kira as he's going to start pushing in. Gets the Colossus. Going to be able to get the Sentry and the Stalker there. He's going to have to pull back, though. A little bit more there than he bargained for. Even can be able to pick off a couple of Phoenix. And somehow he managed to survive that. All right, lots of zealots coming through. Colossus is going to try to get on top of this very heavy Marine army. This is Stalker going to push this back. Phoenix going to help out as well. And behind this, man, I don't know. Another drop coming out from Cure. There's no defense here. There's a couple of shield batteries, but that's going to be about it. He's going to force the Zealots back and stuff to defend this, but the damage is going to be done. 9 probes do go down. Huge Widowmine shots, but there's just not a lot of army here for Cure. We'll eventually have to pick up or just lose everything, as we see still more attacks coming up from the top, killing off another 10 probes. I mean, I guess that's okay, but losing your whole army for just 10 probes and a couple of the Zealots, just not the best. There he goes once again into the main base. And zones out. I mean, I feel like he could have gotten some damage there, but just decides to pull back for whatever reason. And yeah, now he's starting to kind of throw some units away. He does have another army in the back, and this is kind of what he was wanting to do. Game number 1 was just kind of force stats back and forth, but at the same time, with Secure wanting to push down to the bottom, it's going to allow him to have a weaker army up at the top. So maybe stats just goes across, attacks, and then can just recall and defend this army. Stats going to come in though, or excuse me, Cure going to come in with the Marines and Marauders. Already a defense there. There we go. Zealots are going to get eliminated. Looks like Stats going to pull the trigger, going across with his own army. Another huge attack coming over here for Cure, though. As this does get pushed back, Stats going to go into the natural, killing off as many SCVs as possible, taking a couple to the third base. That does get taken care of, and it looks like Cure going into the main base and the natural. And just going to continue to put on the pressure. He does have those Widow Mines down. At the same time, loses the natural. Okay, it's hiding up there. Going to see him kind of start pushing into this. 23 probes have died for Stats as the Marines and Marauders going into the main with the medevacs. At the same time, it looks like Stats finally going to breach into the main base here of Cure. Cure eventually going to have to pick up. He still has another attack going on. Huge probe hit, 58 probes. Stats back down to 1 probe, as he will end up losing that third base. The Stats not done yet though in the main of Cure, as he's going to start working away, whittling away here at the production of Cure. Cure's whole army is across the map, still doing damage. Looks like he's going to have to return back home, and now with the Zealots, with the Colossus going to try to come in here. Guardian Shield going to fall as Stats trying to hold on with the Colossus here. 21 probes do go down. Does he have enough here? All of the Marines are gone. It's only the Phoenix that remain and a couple of Marauders as the army of Cure going to drop in, but instantly we see the recall, but he's not going to make it out. It's down to 22 SCVs to 1 probe. Still another attack going over here with the Archons, with the Zealots, going to kill off more units, and there's only a handful left for Cure. Somehow Stats holding on to this, wants the victory. He is going to be able to eventually get this third base. The second base is non-existent for the most part. He's going to have to rebuild his own forces up, and a lot of his SCVs cannot mine across the map, and it looks like now Stats wants to go in for the final push, trying to play this very carefully. There are now Vikings out, or a Viking. It looks like he can finally start pushing into this. Cure getting on top of this, throwing down the mules to try to stop and guard this army from getting further, but not going to be enough. And Cure slowly starting to lose out, but is it going to be enough? A lot of his army is in those medevacs, but it looks like he's going to be able to hold it off. And GG, as Cure takes the victory.